Today's watch has me a little confused. Hi Last Watchers, if you haven't already done so, I would appreciate if you could like this video and consider hitting the subscribe button. It's the only way to get those pesky Google Analytics to promote my videos and secure the future of the channel. Many thanks. Today's watch is the Empire Grey Tuxedo Chronograph from Singapore-based Vario. Vario are well known for their straps, but are slowly making waves with their lineup of period watches. The Empire, as I will explain, takes its inspiration from the heyday of Art Deco, a style of visual arts, architecture and design that was popular during the early 20th century. It was associated with luxury and glamour, with its bold geometric forms influencing the look of everything from furniture, jewellery, cinemas, cars and even trains. No doubt the most striking and still surviving epitaphs to the style are the 1920 skyscrapers of New York City that include the Chrysler Building and of course the Empire State. Let's take a look at the Empire, starting with its dimensions. It has a diameter of 37.9mm, a lug-to-lug of 45.6mm, a case thickness of 11.1mm and a lug width of 20mm. The weight on the supplied leather strap is a shade under 63.5 grams. Heads up, the Empire is a review piece and I'm not the first person to get hands on, although I may be the last, and you should excuse any signs of wear. Now that the disclaimer is out the way, let's see how it stands up, starting with its stainless steel construction. The profile of the mid-case has vertical brushing with mock seams where it meets the lugs that give them a clamped on appearance. The top of the case, lug shoulders and blunt tips are polished. Vario have seen fit to add drill lugs, which makes total sense for a brand that will be happy to sell you an abundance of straps that you can swap out with ease. The right hand side of the case has a squashed onion crown boasting a pointy polished nipple. Seriously. It sits between two polished slabs that activate the chronograph with a reassuring click from both the start, stop and reset pushes. The chronograph hand has a flyback action that snaps back to the 12 o'clock position. The all polished bezel is noticeably smaller than the case width, with a diameter of 35.5mm, a difference of almost 2.5mm. I'm so used to seeing flush fitting cases and bezels, it's quite striking when you see something that dares to be a little different. That little step from case to bezel is an intriguing design element, very reminiscent of pocket watches that would have been popular long before watches became fashionable. The polished bezel secures a flat sapphire crystal, which I'm told has an inner anti-reflective coating. Sapphire is a great update to a vintage inspired watch, but a slight dome would have added to that vintage appeal. Below the sapphire glass is a bold monochromatic dial of black and silver surfaces. There's a silver sand textured chapter ring with black printed hash markers for the seconds and Arabics from 5 through to 60. Within the chapter ring is an inner matte black ring that under macro seems to have a radial brushing. This black band is home to silver Fonseca styled hour markers, straight out of the Art Deco handbook no doubt. The hours look almost gilt, an optical illusion may be, caused by their fan bead blasted appearance on a black base that gives them a warm tone. There are two subdials that aren't, as they sit on top of the base dial and cut into the black hours ring. A pair of radial brushed silver circles with a 24-hour register for the time at the 3 o'clock position and a 60-minute register for the chronograph positioned at the 9 o'clock. Both registers have black printed incremental markers and leaf style polished hands. The remaining base circle of the Empire dial is another silver disc with an intricate guilloche design. At its head below the 12 o'clock hour marker is a glossy black Vario script logo that complements the dial. The handset of the tuxedo are a mixed bag with a lance for the minute and a syringe, dare I say paperclip, for the hour. They are both skeletonized with a brushed silver finish. The remaining polished stick hand with counterbalanced lollipop is the chronograph hand that sweeps at a reasonable 4 ticks a second. There is no running seconds hand or sub-register for the passing seconds, a bugbear of mine on a chronograph. The perfectly aligned diver style caseback of the Empire sports an Art Deco themed cityscape engraving with a representation of the Empire State Building at its centre. You won't find a Leaning Tower of Pisa here. Now, before you get excited about the amount of technical expertise it must take for this vertical alignment, I should point out that this caseback is not what it seems. To put it bluntly, this is a snap-on back that mimics a screw back, and that is not its only oddity. Look closely at the perimeter text. Sapphire glass, check. Designed in Singapore, check. Stainless steel construction, check. And 5 atmospheres of water resistance, a notable mention and fairly reasonable for a dress watch. I guess we can give that one a check as well. Automatic. What? Hang on. I have to be clear here. The Empire Grey Tuxedo chronograph is not an automatic. I would love it to be so, but it's most definitely a quartz. Hence its asking price of £247, $298 or €293. It would seem that the case suppliers for Vario got their knickers in a twist when it came to the automatic text, something that caused some confusion with early purchasers, and myself, as the watch is powered by a Seiko VK64 Mecha Quartz movement. On realising the error, Ivan at Vario put a stop to sales of the Empire whilst they had new casebacks manufactured. The Empire is now back on sale with the correct caseback, and if you're one of those early owners with an original incorrectly engraved caseback, then Ivan will arrange for a free replacement caseback to be fitted via one of his watchmakers when your battery is replaced. It might seem that putting automatic on the caseback of a quartz watch is a major boo-boo. Well, it is. But in Vario's defence, the confusion may come down to the fact that the Empire was also available as a simple three-hander with both hand-wound and automatic mechanical movements, all of which are now sold out. The Seiko VK64 is a highly regarded hybrid mechanical quartz, i.e. mecha quartz, with a chronograph movement that uses quartz technology for the main functions of the watch and a mechanical module for operating the chronograph. It has a fairly safe accuracy rating of between plus or minus 20 seconds per month, which is way better than your average automatic, and a battery life of up to 3 years. The movement also has a date complication, which should lead to a ghost position on the crown. It's not really a noticeable issue here, as the Empire stem is quite short. The Empire arrived on this vintage Epsom Italian leather onyx black strap that comes fitted with quick release spring bars. It's a full grain leather with a contrasting cream stitch that starts at 20mm between the lugs before tapering to 16mm at the polished tang and buckle. A buckle that is engraved with an off-centre Vario logo. The strap also has 2 leather keepers. If you're not a fan of black leather, then Vario have you covered, as you can select pretty much any colour option from the Epsom Italian leather range. The Empire Chronograph is a bold yet elegant watch that sits well on my 7-inch wrist. It's by no means perfect, as I found a couple of artefacts under the sapphire glass and on the dial, but these were only visible under macro and may well be explained by this being a review piece, a first out the gate scenario. And although I can live without a date window, I would have preferred a running seconds over the 24-hour register. Regardless, the Tuxedo is a well-executed mid-size watch that nails the Art Deco brief. The confusion with the caseback was a bit of an own goal, which was quickly rectified. Although I wonder how many of those early buyers will actually swap out their rather unique mislabeled casebacks for the replacement. Would you? I was all set for packing off the chronograph to the next reviewer when I found myself asking Ivan at Vario if I could keep it. And he agreed. He's even going to send me a replacement caseback. That may very well stay in its packaging. There's every chance that I will swap out the strap for something more daring, which will be a quick mod courtesy of those drill lugs and bolt action spring bars. If like me you've been won over by the Empire Chronograph, then you'll be pleased to know it comes in a choice of variants that also include white, black, gunmetal and gold, and a white and gold. Sadly, the salmon has already sold out, as each variant is limited to 50 pieces, each of which comes with a 1-year international warranty. 2 would have been better. As a plus, you can shave 8% off the asking price of the remaining Empires by using the discount code Empire Chrono 8. If you're kicking yourself that you missed out on one of the time-only automatics, then great news! Vario will be launching 2 new designs this autumn, with the salmon and grey tuxedo coming as early as September. There are also plans to add 4 mother of pearl hand-wound editions next year. Let's hope I get one in for review ahead of the launch. I'll add a link to the Vario website in the video description below, as well as the discount code for the chronograph. Please share your thoughts on the Empire Tuxedo chronograph and the rest of the Empire range. Let me know if you're a happy customer or planning on picking up a Vario of any description in the future. Thanks for watching, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video.